Hello! So I have finished my Imbolc pages in my Grimoire, so I thought I'd share with you what I ended up doing, what information I ended up including, how it's all coming together so far. So, hopefully you can see that okay. For the first page I included this tear out of the Country Diary of an Edwardian Lady, which is this. This is a small like reprint version that I got in the charity shop, so it's like a miniature version, and as I have a large copy of this already, I'm using this for collage ephemera. So I just included February there, a couple of stickers, and then just bring you in a little bit more. This is quite a large book, so it's a little bit hard getting it all in frame, but there you go, you should be able to see most of it. So I've just included my cheat sheet here on the other side, and then I've done a bit of a title page. We've got Imbolc and a quote from Chaos Craft, so green, love and sacrifice, parenthood, the promise of spring. Sort of summarising Imbolc. And then on this page I added a wash of a couple of different tones of green watercolour, and I have written out a ritual for Imbolc and green, which I got from Chaos Craft. And this is all about meditating, using a soundscape of nature sounds to meditate. So starting off with the sounds of the oceans, letting the water wash over you, cleanse you, purify you, and then that changing to a verdant woodland and meditating upon, you know, the building up of spring. This is taken from the Little Book of Nature Blessings by Teresa Delbridge, and just a few bits about like earth magic, what the earth teaches us, so patience, practicality, consolation, groundedness, and for the bullet points I used the earth symbol. This is a double spread all about walnut magic. I've been very drawn to walnuts over February and my Imbolc workings. I'm definitely exploring a lot more of, you know, in my daily practice. I wouldn't say I fully, you know, identify or fully identify it as an art witch. It's definitely more witch, and within that I've got different layers with my practice. So green witchcraft, kitchen witchery, art witchery. You know, I don't like labels, and you know, humans are multifaceted, so I've been really leaning into what is calling my curiosity, what's exciting for me. And so on here I've done, so this is a tear out of the Witch's Garden, which is a really beautiful illustrated book that I actually have two copies because my partner accidentally bought me another copy for Christmas. He didn't realise I already had it, so I've got one that I, you know, is safe and I won't tear up. The other one I've been using for collage and everything. So this is a walnut tree. And then on here I've got my recipe for walnut pesto. I've got a tear out from a food magazine for a date and walnut loaf that I baked, which was really nice. And I thought this looks nice enough, like how the recipe's formatted, so I'm not going to rewrite it, I'm just going to tip it in. Oh, I bent my page a bit there. And then here I've got some kind of magical lore about the walnut tree and walnuts. So the walnut tree is sacred to Zeus, Jupiter and Thor. Use walnuts for weatherworking, abundance, insight, healing, focus, wealth, creativity and motivation. And walnut shells can be used to store spells, intentions and as charms. That's from wikipedia.com. Just so happened to come across this really cool like Halloween walnut fairy, so I included her there. You will have seen, or you will see in the Imbolc vlog, that I spent some time shelling walnuts and making a walnut pesto. So I used that as part of my Imbolc feast meal. I was also planning on making some walnut charms out of the shells. And that was from, let me just get it, it's just off here to the side. This is my commonplace book. When I was collecting ideas, where is it? Here we go. I was inspired by this from this craft from the Magpie and the Wardrobe, walnut shell keepsakes. But I really struggled with gluing the shells, making the hinges. I tried loads of different types of glue. I tried PVA glue, super glue, you know, craft glue, glitter glue. Weirdly, the glitter glue worked best, and I think because it was the most plasticky. But it was really difficult, and I ended up getting quite frustrated with it. And so I decided, you know, as I hadn't been successful with it, I wasn't going to include anything about that in here. But, you know, maybe next time, you know, if I try again and I am successful in like a future grimoire, I can add that, or, you know, I can always tip in for this as well. Here so this is my nice cardi paper, so I wanted to do some painting on that. So I painted a selection of green crystals. This is from the Edwardian diary book as well, Green Woodpecker. Just cut that out. I stuck him in first and then painted the crystals around. I've never painted crystals before, so it was really nice and meditative. And then I just included, you know, properties of these crystals and how to work with them on this side. So this page I did green watercolour, but then because I knew there was going to be lots of writing, I used a palette knife and put white gouache over the top, white acrylic gouache, and then used my Sailor Shikori. Is that going to focus? No. Kind of. Sailor Shikori pen. One end is a brush tip, one end is a regular tip, and wrote the headings out in that. And then this is actually fountain pen ink in the pens, which is really cool, and the colours are beautiful. And then I used my Pilot Uniball, not Pilot, so just a Uniball? Uniball Eye micro pen for the black bits and writing over on here. So the crystals we've got are emerald, jade, malachite, aventurine, moss agate, serpentine, green calcite and peridot. I have in my collection aventurine, moss agate, serpentine, and I have some jewellery with peridot on. I don't think I have any emerald jewellery, but yeah, I might look at getting some more green crystals, but moss agate and aventurine is one of my favourites. This centre spread is of course the Imbolc snake that we worked on. Here I've got a page just listing out some green magic correspondences, and this was taken from Colour, Form and Magic by Nicole Pivarotti. So I've got some correspondences and then a quote. Candle making as spell work. I printed out a scan of a painting I did a few years ago and just resized that down and included that in here. And I've got how to make candles, and then herbs that can be used like within the candles as part of a spell. This is from the Bibliophiles sticker anthology, or Bibliophilia sticker anthology, which I got from Amazon, and it's got lots of alphabet stickers in it, so I just went through and found the matching ones and then fussy cut them as well. This is on matte medium, which I did and then did watercolour, and it's stuck okay. I think it's peeling a little bit, so I might need to go back in and just put some glue under them. looking at the star. So this is information from one of my other grimoires that I pulled from, which was originally from Llewellyn's Witch's Diary. So just sort of tying the star in with Imbolc and how you can use that card to work with at this time of year. Keywords of the star, and then I also did, I also ended up creating a very large painting of the star. I just felt suddenly super inspired. I'll get it, but I actually need to peel off the border, but I'll have to do it very slow across camera because it's much bigger than what will show up, I think. And this is done using gouache and a little bit of acrylic ink, liquid metal acrylic ink, and I used a very muted palette and limited palette as well. But I really love how this turned out. And so I think that just shows as well, follow your interests in this. You don't always have to work within a book. If something's calling you to go outside of the book, follow that. This side of the page is a little bit about frogs, toads and newts. So I've got, I copied the spawns of them, and then I've got their kind of magical symbolism, so awakening, intuition, rebirth, new life, transformation, and then a quote here. It was once believed toads were witches who had shapeshifted. I thought that was funny. This page is a rasher pudding recipe, so I made this on Imbolc using the walnut pesto within it as well. And I just popped it, yeah, I wrote down the recipe on this tear out of an old almanac, and also added an alternative. So I baked my rasher pudding. When I made it previously, I boiled it and it was a bit slimy, so baking it's actually a lot tastier. But I thought I'd include, you know, the original recipe and then my amendment, and just put a couple of stickers on there as well. Here's an Imbolc tarot spread that I did, which I believe was from Bujo Witchcraft. I couldn't find this spread on her account, but she has very similarly worded Sabbath spreads, so I'm pretty sure it's her. And I thought I would, because it's quite a simple spread, just the cross, I included a big picture of my spread that I did this year. Oh, and also this I originally tore out because I had the concern that I had made the book far too thick, but it ended up being perfect, and I really wanted to include it. I loved that toad picture, so I tipped this back in, and this was the only one I added back in. This is a big double spread on thyme, so I wanted to focus on, have a little bit of a spotlight of thyme because I love cooking with it and growing it, and I thought as well this kind of tied in with green witchcraft and, you know, looking at the colour green this Sabbath. So these were from a herb book that I'd got from a charity shop, and I just liked this 1600s recipe for how to enable one to see the fairies. I thought it's really cute. You can see there, so I'll read it out to you. To enable one to see the fairies, a pint of sallet oil and put it into a vial glass, and first wash it with rose water and marigold water, the flowers to be gathered towards the east. Wash it till the oil becomes white, then put into the glass, and then put thereto the buds of hollyhocks, the flowers of marigold, the flowers or tops of wild thyme, the buds of young hazel, and the thyme must be gathered near the side of a hill where fairies used to be. And take the grass of a fairy throne, then all of these put into the oil in the glass and settle it to dissolve 3 days in the sun, and then keep it for their use. So I just thought that was just beautiful. I really loved it, and yeah, this might be something that I want to do, you know, later on in the year when there's more flowers around and stuff, just as a nice little ritual. I also included some information about how thyme was burnt as incense from, you know, all the way back to classical Greece. Thyme, the name thyme, word thyme, comes from the Greek's word to fumigate, which I thought was cool. This is torn out from an old book I got from the charity shop, just there's thyme. And these were from that sticker book as well. And then on here I've included a mishmash of information about thyme, so a bit about creating like dyes or inks with thyme, how to make a healing bath using thyme, a little bit of sort of historical lore about thyme as well, and a herb recipe source. I thought this sounded really nice. So I've included things in here that I haven't necessarily done yet, but it's stuff that's been capturing my interest over the season. So this is something that I can look back on, you know, throughout the whole year as well, but also, you know, next February I can see like, oh, okay, I could try that this year, and, you know, then if I make any alterations, I can include that in a future grimoire. This is a printable that I got from a Ukrainian Etsy seller just to support them during these difficult times. So I just printed this out, and it covers all the basic correspondences of Thyme, so that seemed pretty perfect to just include. And then the last 2 pages are a focus on the goddess Brigid. Again, using those stickers from that book. I love this very ornate Celtic one, and because they were too big for the width of the page, I just put them along the side. And then I've included some information about Brigid. This is taken from a journal spread I did a while ago. And then last but not least, jobs for the garden. So just a couple of things to get done in the garden. And that is it for February. So it actually managed to stay relatively slim, so I have hope that I've done the right thing here by, you know, taking out those tip-ins and keeping things relatively flat. Next we'll be looking at Ostara and the colour orange. And so what I've been doing is I've just gone through and then where there are glossy pages, I've been adding matte medium, ready to then, you know, if they need further decoration, for adding everything in on these pages. So I'd love to hear your ideas and you know, see what you've done in your grimoires for this Sabbat. I've really enjoyed it. I love green, and I love Imbolc because it's like you're on the cusp of spring, things are waking up, things are starting to stir, come back to life. So it's a really hopeful time of the year. So thank you, witches. I will see you very soon. Bye.